Hi guys, this is the second part that I supposed to pass it to you guys. Alright, so we are looking at the head modeling continuation from the head. Okay, a little bit of recap that we have already created the face silhouette sort of and the nose, and now we are going to go to the mouth, which is this area, and then the ears, and eventually we're going to go to the hair. Alright, so once you have all this, before you go for any details as such, alright, don't worry about this first midpoint here, because eventually when you are going to mirror it, it's going to be a little bit of it's going to merge properly, and then you're going to lose that midline. Okay, so as we can see here, the topology is not the greatest, but as you go along, you kind of like you want to adjust your topology and so on and so forth. Okay, before I go for the lips and all that, I'll go for the ears first. Okay, let me look at the ears first. Right. In order for you to do the ears, you have to just choose which are the parts that is necessary to be taken down as the ears. Okay, if the ears is starting from here, bottom here, right, as you can see here, the ears is starting below the eye, so this is the below the eye, and now what you're going to do is you are going to choose the faces, and then you are going to extrude it. Alright, press extrude, and now I'll just straight away press W, so I can just come out here and do this and just pull it over, because sometimes, like I said before, extrusion might not work really well, so just be aware of that. Alright, so you extrude this again to a point where this guy is the ears can be seen. And I'm going to squeeze it a little bit, and then I'm going to pull it in, maybe rotate it a little bit first. Okay, this is, though the ears now looks like Dumbo's ear, so you're going to adjust it accordingly. Like now I choose the vertices, I'm going to pull it in, and I'm going to adjust it accordingly. Can you see? So once you pull this and you adjust it, you kind of like want to see how the whole ears look from the side and from the front. So I'm going to pull this over, I'm going to rotate this. You can see here the ears is starting to form. Okay, if you can't see it properly from here, maybe you want to check on your side and front view. So what we can do here is we can make it as a 3 panel. Alright, I'm going to make this as side right view. Alright, and then I am going to work on this guy here. Alright, from the front here, as you can see, the small window at the bottom here, I am going to adjust it. So here best is to keep your X-ray vision on. On the X-ray vision, bring out the necessary vertex. Alright, there's a little bit of offset, don't worry about it too much, a little bit here and there, and then adjust your form so it fits the bill or the concept that you're working on. Alright, and then bring this guy here, double check on your perspective view, so you're choosing the best, the correct vertices, and you're going to pull it over, see that, and then move it, choose this guy, double check on perspective view, you're gonna bring it up a little bit and slide it in according to the silhouette. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up a little bit, don't worry, you still have to adjust a lot of things, and then push it in so you get the look first. From a side view, have a check. Okay, it's sort of like not bad. Maybe you want to add in more, or if it's not adding in more, then you have an issue. Okay, what happens if you have done something like this and then it's wrong? It's very simple. You go back here, you go to faces instead of going undoing everything. Alright, so click on this, okay, and then you do a select here, grow. So you can see all this will be given, this side here, it is all given with shortcut key. Choose it first, unselect, or before that just go ahead and reduce it. Right, I'm using a little bit of shortcut key. I'm going to delete this guy. I don't want this faces. Alright, and I'm going to go to edge. I'm going to choose this to edge and I'm going to bridge it again, G. So I get back to my original position. Okay, here just I made a mistake just now. Why is because I assumed and I chose the wrong faces. By right it's supposed to form from here. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we are going to look at these two faces here, and then we sort of like want to get a proper year here. You can do it separately and then you can just mix it up, but I would just say you just have to extrude it if you want to. So I'm going to extrude this. Okay, I'm going to either pull it over, see that, then I'm going to do another extrusion, and this time I'm just going to pull it over here. Okay, as you can see, this is all penetrating inwards, which means all this is going inwards and it's not logical for it to happen. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to double click this on the loop, and I'm just going to bring it out a little bit approximately so that it doesn't have an X normal or whichever you want to call it. Alright, it doesn't overlap. I'm going to bring it closer, alright, choose the other vertices, that is important. I'm going to bring it down, alright, so that it follows the mesh that I want to. I'm going to move the vertices around, as you can see here, to get approximately the best looking ear shape. Okay, see that? So this is created. That's fine if you don't have a proper 100% look and feel of the ears. So now once you look at this, it's sort of like it fits the bill, just that it's too much to the side. So you have to go back and forth. You have to choose the vertices based on your perspective. So I'm going to press 4 to see through, and I'm just going to move things around. See that? It locks on the front perspective. I'm going to bring it out a little bit so that it's not overly done. So maybe I'm going to press 5 again, double check whether this is penetrating each other or overlapping is happening. I'm going to bring this dude a little bit inside this vertex, and I'm just approximately adjusting it so it sort of like fits well. I'm going to bring this guy out, this vertex, right? That's alright. So I'm going to choose this and bring it inwards, sort of something like that. Okay, see that? Sort of it kind of like gives you the look and feel. I'm going to bring this guy a little bit out, this vertex, so that it's not too thin. Right, be careful with that. I'm going to choose the vertex that I need, and I'm going to move it upwards a little bit. Excuse me. So the moment when I have this, I'm going to go back here. I am going to push it over so I get the main shape first. Okay, the moment I get to this depends on how stylized you want to have it. Okay, my suggestion will be, do not go overly detailed now. this is more than enough for a character that you just created based on the concept. Choose the vertex that you need, adjust it accordingly so it follows the shape. Main thing is to get the shape, and then go back to your faces, click the part where it's going to go inwards, which is you have the hole here a little bit. So we're going to do an extrusion. You're going to make it slightly smaller, maybe. Always double check whether this extrusion is going to work or not. If it's not, just undo it or delete it, up to you. And then make another selection. See that? Okay, here as you can see, the ears is overlapping. Why this is happening? Why is because this part here, when you see it, when you press number 1, when it's on low poly, this is all kind of overlapping, and this is where you need adjustment to happen, right? I hope you get the idea for a basic start. Alright, so just bring it in. Okay, kind of like you want to have sort of like that, and then off it, object mode, and now as you can see, the ear shape is almost ready. Okay, you now get the silhouette in proper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it accordingly. So this guy here is not standing out just like that. Adjust it to, you can do a minor tweak to your characters that you kind of have it here. Just be careful how you want to adjust and how you want to cut all your subdivisions and so on and so forth. Alright, so in order for you to have that hole inside here, the one that is going in your eardrum to your eardrum, right, you kind of like have this part here to extrude in. Right, again and again, double check whether this guy is properly placed or not. Okay, this is just for a start. Alright, maybe you want to have a different sort of different angle of animation or whatever it is, right? So this is sort of, you want to get it more, a little bit more detail and so on and so forth. One way of doing, but normally what we do is this kind of cartoon characters, we don't have too much of holes as such, and then you don't want to kill yourself over all these details too much, because when it's toon shade, it doesn't need that much of details. As you can see here, all this penetration or all this extrusion is done to get the base shape, because in cartoon characters you don't need to go super detailed, overly detailed on the characters much. In cartoon character, as long as you cover the silhouettes properly, as long as you can identify this is a ear, kind of have this, and then make sure that you have a little bit of additions, like for instance you want to have like a eardrum here that is happening, you can do that. Alright, as long as it's identical to the character, you can just do this. Okay, so the concept, it kind of like has this, and you have a ear. Okay, so all this comes with practice. You kind of like understand what you really want to do, and then what you want to achieve here. If you want more details, of course you go ahead and you do a lot of cuttings and so on and so forth, and that's where you get the best looking model. For now, this is more than enough for a detail that you're going to show for a cartoon animation, a cartoon modeling. Alright, the moment you have finished this, now you have the face, you're kind of happy. Go back, double check on the nose by itself. Maybe you want to go for the vertex and pull the nose accordingly to the desired shape that you want to create. Okay, this kind of areas that you kind of have, like for the nose and so on and so forth, for the nostril, you might want to consider having more details. But for a start, you guys kind of get the idea of how to get the silhouette first. That's the main goal of this tutorial, for you to kind of understand how the whole mesh distribution is been distributed in proper without any n-gons and so on and so forth. Right? So if you want to have like details like the nostrils is coming out here a little bit, you know, and how you want to do that, do not do this. Don't go and do that. This will not give you a good modeling. See that? It feels like a nose is just popping up just like that. It's like a wing, or like it doesn't make sense to the what they call the model or the concept that you have created. So please don't do that. So what I'll do is I will add a little bit of bevel on this line here. I'll choose this line. Alright, choose this line around here, the loop, and you can go ahead and do a little bit of bevel. Very subtle, right? See that this is to create a particular shape for the shadow to come in. See that? So I'm going to go here, I'm going to go and pull this guy out a little bit, or I'm going to go here and I'm going to squeeze it in so I get that tap inside for the nostril. Okay. Alright, this one you have to experiment and see how it flows and so on and so forth. Maybe I want to adjust. It's always a back and forth kind of work that you have to do with modeling. It's not like all the way that you get the correct or the best resolution by modeling from scratch like this. So you want to adjust it accordingly, and you get that. Okay, this is the part that you want to get. So when you see it, is sort of like, hey, this guy has a nostril and his face is kind of like, okay, the silhouette is fine from the side, from the front. See, whenever a concept artist draws a thick line here, that means there's a little bit of depth. This sort of cleavage kind of thingy appears, right? So you have to double check with that, see how it goes. So come back to first stage, which is come back to the front stage, alright, and then pull it in slightly so that it fits the front view. Right? I'm going to choose all these faces, bring it down a little bit, maybe with this guy. Bring it down a little bit so it falls there, and I'm going to go back to my vertex and I'm going to pull it up. Right, now it should be almost perfectly done. So if you're looking from a top angle, if you have a top angle blueprint, then orthographics, then you can always look from top. But if you don't have, you do an approximate shaping from your perspective. See that? It feels more sharper now, and it's not like, you know, bulging out and so on and so forth. Alright, so once you have done this is just a basic things that you want to learn from modeling here. Okay, when you look at, I'll just go to the perspective. When you look at the topology, by topology wise, this should be connected properly to the lip, upper lip, and then you have your mouth by itself here, and so on and so forth. Right? You need to know the flow. You need to understand a little bit of human anatomy. You have to look into a few anatomy samples that you can pick up from the internet by itself. But for now, we'll just go with the flow to just give you a base idea of how the whole thing works, rather than you know, beating yourself up to create something like this, a character like this. Alright, so I'm just going to click that again, highlight the model. Okay, look back at the model. Normally the model here, this part will be joined. It won't have like one piece like that normally, right? But then again, that is one way of doing things, but I'm going to cut from here to bring it out to this part. Okay, so for a simple modeling, cartoon modeling like this, I'm going to choose the mouth now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do an extrusion. See that? Before I pull it in like that, I'm going to choose this lips and then delete this. Okay, I get approximately a mouth or lip by doing that. So, right, modeling a character is always important for you to model it approximately well and open the mouth. That is the workflow. Actually, you should be opening the mouth and make the hollow inside. But for the practice wise, this is one way of doing it. Okay, of this, and then you kind of get the look first. Okay, get the lips first, the shape, and then start doing your adjustment from here, which means this flow is going to go here, it's going to go up down from here. For example, I'm going to do a cut. I'm going to do a cut. This one is going to do, oops, it cuts from here, here, and then goes up to the jawbone here, something like that. Okay, but since now we are going to work on the base mesh first, so it's alright if you do some mistakes and so on and so forth. Right? You bring it up to the back and then you join it eventually to the part here. Okay, so that is one way of doing, that is a proper anatomy. So which means you have to go here. Let me show you a little bit of R&D that I found out from 3D modeling techniques. As you can see, a proper modeling should come like that, detailed, detailed, detailed. Alright, you see the flow? It flows from the nose to this part here, and if you want to see more carefully, look at, I'm going to post this together. Alright, you're going to look at the face here for an example. See that? Jawbone cuts here, the lips where you want to have this particular dip and you want to have a dimple here sort of thingy, so you want to have this lip is overlapping a little bit, so you get, when you smile, you have that nice little concave stuff around the lips. Alright, so you have to understand the flow a little bit. Okay, as you can see, the upper part is one, the eye is 2 sockets, and then you have the whole mask for the eye. From the nose, it straight drops to the chin, alright, and then it slowly builds up its own rhythm and own topology distribution. So I'm just covering, that is a detailed modeling that you are going to look at in the future. But for now, for cartoon characters, this is give me a moment. For now, this is the best looking tutorial. I mean, this will be just nice for you to model a character, fantasy character. This is more than enough. Okay, so this is a good example. As you can see here, the flow. This flow comes here, the nostril to the jawbone, the lips is by itself, and then your chin, and then your cheek, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is one way of looking at things. I've got ample of modeling tutorials here, which is I do a lot of learning, but then again this one all comes with R&D. It's not just give me a moment, it's kind of like jacking out. Alright, so when you look at models as such, you see this part, how it's joined and on the topology, how it works, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there is a technique of optimizing later. This is a high level thingy that you eventually will learn how to do. You see how the whole topology falls and how the flow is. This will be an ideal understanding of how you want to break down your parts and segments accordingly. Alright, so this is important when you're doing character facial rigging. Alright, so for now will be just nice for us to get the look and feel first before we even go ahead and do more detailed stuff. Okay, find a niche first, find an understanding, hey, this is not looking right, I need to go in and I need to build up more, give in more what they call more segments, so it's much more clearer and I can get the best looking face here, and so on and so forth. Right, so as you can see, this part has been thoroughly pushed in. Okay, and actually this is not enough for a modeling purpose, so I'm just going to adjust this accordingly, alright, to my liking. That is just a reference, but here I'm just using my reference, my own preferences, and I'm adjusting accordingly. Alright, so once I've done this, the lips is done, and you go ahead and do more cuttings. So which means you're going to choose all this, right, and you're going to do a bevel. Right, go for a flexion, lay it a bit out. Okay, to get the upper lip properly done, and then press number 1. You can see we have already done the cuttings accordingly. So when we saw this kind of topology studies and all that, when you did this, as I shown just before this, right, the topology that I did, so that I studied with. Okay, look at this. Maybe this is a little bit complex. Maybe look at the simplest topology that we can find. Okay, there's ample of topology outside there. When you're doing research for modeling, you should always look at the wireframes, not just the beauty of the character that has been created. See that? I want to cut this. I want to have this whole jaw, the face line properly distributed, and then you want to do your segments in proper. Okay, so once you have done this, you're kind of happy with this, you move on and you start adjusting your model accordingly. See, I'm going to adjust this guy here, this lips here. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to hit 3. See how it falls. Okay, I'm kind of happy with this. So now you can see this part here, you kind of have like like a redundant cut. It's supposed to have a nice mid mouse cut. So this one comes with a lot of studies and a lot of practice. So from here, this supposed to move on to your jaw. It's like studying anatomy or biology by itself. You know what I mean? So you don't want to have like a try there. Okay, so you have to double check that, make sure everything is properly connected. Alright, that is one way of doing. Just go ahead and start modeling some more and more. Alright, so from here maybe you want to make it like a proper cut. Then you see it gives you more space to do your topology or to adjust your topology accordingly. Press enter. Now you can see slowly the whole thing performs or forms a good round, approximately. Okay, though it's not perfect, but you can get the idea. Alright, the flow might be wrong a little bit at times. Okay, you have to double check, and you have to always work on how you want to combine this so that this lip does not go in as such. You have to always connect it, and this will take a lot of practice. Right, see, this face modeling is one of the hardest that you have to work with. Right, so from here, if this jaw is not, this line is not properly distributed as such, as you can see here, then you won't get the best result. See that? Sometimes you always wonder, hey, why I'm not getting a proper roundish kind of proper alignment or proper topology distribution accordingly. Why? Because you are not properly creating your meshes. So you go back inside and press number 1. You start from inner and then press number 3 just to bring it out. Right, 1 and 2. Okay, press enter, adjust it. See, when you're on low poly, this is what happens. Okay, adjust it accordingly. You will see the tries and the quads goes a little bit haywire. This is like, there is a try here. Hey, why is this happening? You said no try, you know, and then suddenly you have tries here. What's happening? Why? Is because this is not properly connected and it's not dropping down in proper. So you have to go back and start doing your adjustment. Okay, alright, if this is try here, don't worry, you can always go ahead and do the cut. Okay, so what I'll do is, before I do anything, I will just delete the inner part. So this way I get the upper lip, I get the bottom lip. Alright, so now as you can see, this part is not properly connected. You got the proper line already, you got a nice cut around here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This is already in proper. It's just that this area is not correctly connected, so you kind of like have an awkward looking model all of a sudden, and this is a bad thing to happen. Right, so what you can do is you can join this together. Alright, and then you join this part together, and so on and so forth. Make sure everything is connected well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and do a multi-cut again and again. So as you can see, I'm going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, somewhere there. So see, things when you're doing on a smooth surface, it's not going to work. Okay, I'm going to number 1, which is on a low poly. I'm going to put it in. Make a practice. Alright, please go back to number 1. That will be the ultimate solution. Press number 3, 1, 3, 1. Right. So here, this is a bad thing to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this. Okay, this might get a little bit confusing, but you know, this is how it works. Okay, before I do any cuttings or as such, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of a segment around here. All this takes time, huh? I'm going to bring it inwards so I get this nice little cut. Okay, I'm going to choose this too, or I'm going to do this target well. Bump 1. So right, you're going to have a little bit of angle. Right, I'm going to bring this guy up here. Okay, all this will start, you start doing it by adjusting eventually. This one will come with a little bit of work to do. So I'm going to do a multi-cut here. Alright, so now I am going to take out this to here, and I'm going to adjust all this so that it doesn't have an unnecessary connection. See that? So now voila, we're done. But they seem to have a little bit of n-gon. This is what you call n-gon. 1, 2, 3 vertices. You see this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 faces. So how to fix this? So you want to have a multi-cut from here, here, and here. Right? Okay, now when you press number 3, you will see the lip is properly distributed, and you can now adjust it to get this nice looking. See that? You get a nice looking smile there. Okay, it's alright for having a little bit more vertex around here. The bottom lip needs to be a little bit below compared to the upper lip. So you're going to bring all this in, or maybe out a little bit, so you have this thick. Your bottom lip will have a little bit of thickness. Alright, then I'm going to choose this 2 part bottom lip so you can get that. See, I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to choose this part. I'm going to make it a little bit more meaningful to have that lips. Okay, I'm going to bring this dude here. You need this vertex to be a little bit more closer, alright, and then you're going to pull it in. Okay, I'll explain to you why I'm doing this. I want to have it hollow first. Alright, I don't want it to be super, what they call, everything is mashed up, because you have to understand the upper lip and the bottom lip works differently. Okay, so this part you really have to figure out how you want to do it, because the upper lips will be a little bit more sharper compared to the lower part. The lower lips will always be a little bit roundish normally, depending on your style of modeling, right? See that? So once you have this, you have to go back and adjust it accordingly and pull this in. See? So your jaw, your lips is not just one big chunk of lips. You get a nice lip. You want to get this part here, right? So now the problem here arises when you don't have a nice round cut around this part here. So what I would suggest is choose the rings around this area, right click and insert edge loop. Okay, you're going to do that a little bit, check and see what happens. That's a bad thing. Okay, so you can't do that, you only have to have for this dude here. Sometimes insert edge loop might not work, as you can see here. When you add edge loop here, you see, when it's not connected in proper, you might not get the exact looking or exact cut that you need. So in order to solve this problem, what you have to do is you don't do edge loop, insert edge loop, you do a cut first. Okay, this is to identify the upper lip in proper. You get this. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to get this cut first. I want to know which part I want to adjust in a while. So this area needs to go upwards. See, when it go upwards, or it opens up to this side here, you kind of like want to have it in line. So what you're going to do is you're going to approximately add more vertex, see that, and you're going to bring it up 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, now it is all slowly properly connected. See that? Of course, for this area you might want to revisit later or shortly, and then you pull in and pull out to get that nice looking forehead. Okay, this area you might want to adjust it back again so you don't have a massive, this is for frowning actually, I'm going to pull this in so I get a proper, for frowning, facial expression, I get that. Okay, I'm going to pull this dude here inside a little bit and I'm going to pull it in. See that? That will be useful for the eyelashes and so on and so forth. Okay, pull that in. Now tweaking is going to be very tricky because tweaking needs a lot of time to adjust until you get the right composition. The flow needs to be proper, and then it slowly forms a good face. Don't worry about it again. Alright, we are going to fix it. Okay, double check here. See this part here, it is not properly distributed because you have this and gone here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a multi-cut here. I'm doing that. Yet I still haven't solved any of the problem. So you have to come back and revisit again and again and again until you get the exact cut, or until you get a very clean cut. Cut from here to inwards, press enter, start moving your vertices around, right? See, sometimes it's okay if you have like tries cutting in, that's fine. See, like this part here, I think it is try but it's not, it's quad. So you might want to revisit this, and then you might want to add more cuts or divisions. Alright. So cut this in proper. I'm going to save this as part 2. I'm going to pull this guy out so it's easier for me to adjust it. I'm going to look at it back again, see how it flows. Try to study your mesh properly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how do you want to make it really round? This is a challenging part. This is extremely challenging when you're doing modeling. Okay, you know for sure this area needs to have more cuts. That, enter. So you already got this. So how do you want to solve this area, this folding area? So you might want to bring it all over up to here, or you can just do 1, 2, or 1, 2. See, you can't do that much when you're on this, so you have to do that. Go to normal mode and press this. Press number 3, you get that. Alright, it's not the perfect, it's perfect one, but you kind of like understand how and why are you trying to solve this problem and so on and so forth. Right? So this one shouldn't be this way, it should be the other way around, or whichever that is suitable enough to cut in. So like for instance this dude here, number 1, you want to cut that to, I don't know, right? So you have to, it's quite difficult at this area. This folding area is one of the most difficult thing, right? Okay, for now this is more than enough. As you can see here, the lip, upper lip, you kind of like solved it approximately. For a first start, it's good start. Okay, so I'm going to cut this here, I'm going to pull it over. I'm trying to get the upper lip working really well. I'm going to pull all this inner part, inner lip inwards and scale it. Okay, now once I've done that, now what I can do is I can do a multi-cut tool here. Or I can go for edges, click one, see that? I will add more, shift, insert edge loop, and I will add more. See that? Okay, the more vertices and the more segments that you add, the more it's going to look better. Right? Remember, this area needs to move in a little bit so that you have this nice little dip. For men, normally it won't go till the ultimate extreme of, you know, you want to have it like Angelina Jolie's lips, but you know, you kind of like on top a little bit to show or to indicate that this dude here has a lip. I'm going to press B. By holding B and middle mouse, I'm going to just do this so I can pull this up. I'm just making the character smile a little bit. These are all alterations after. See that? Approximately. So My take here is, it's not that I want to create a super approximately a super press B again, a super detailed character, but it's cartoonic yet it has a reasonable topology. That's what you guys have to do. Get a reasonable topology understanding. Alright, so adjust this part. So you have nice cheek here, the chin, cheekbone. Right. This is still, it's not the perfect modeling for this assignment, but I mean perfect modeling by me, but as you can see here, it's fairly good for a submission as such. Kind of like get to know, hey look, this is, you have a cheekbone, you have a nice lip folding, and it's smiling, you can be fine, and so on and so forth. Once you have this, you are kind of happy with, and what I'll do is I'll choose the inner part of the lip. Make sure you go to number 4, you unselect the noses, edges, and so on and so forth. You only want the inner part. Unselect, unselect, unselect until only you can see just the inner part selected. See, anything that you have overlap like this, you can always go back here and you can adjust it accordingly. Then go back to your selection, unselect everything, make sure only the inner part is selected, and Control E. Oops, see that? I missed out. Unselect all this. Right, only the inner lip is selected. Okay. Now, what you can do is Control E, and then you are going to expand it inwards and bring it in, expand it upwards, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is, if I press number 5, this is to create that there's a little bit of flesh in it and give a better volume. So that you guys have to do a lot of human studies a little bit here and there. Okay, so practically the head is almost complete. Okay, for the neck, now when you have this kind of modeling, only the half head is selected, you want to make sure that this dude here is a little bit together, and pull it out a little bit for the collar. Okay, end of the day, what we should do is we should adjust it accordingly so your eye does not go like, haywire and look at things. Okay, for basic cartoon, this is almost there. Okay, now you start doing your eyebrows. So do this and then bring it out a little bit and make it, squash it a little bit, kind of get that. Or I would strongly suggest for the eyebrows you do a plain and then you do separately. Okay, so if for the head hair, we'll talk about it in a while. Please try this first and then move on to the scalp and the head and so on and so forth. Right, I hope this helps you. Alright, okay, approximately we hope this one helps you. If this is for the scalp, then we will move on to the sculpting on part 3 for the hair. Okay, adios brothers. So you check it out, make sure the anatomy is in proper, approximately reflects well with your character. Apart from the hair, you can do the hair separately, but this is what you get. Okay, so thank you very much, and hopefully you enjoyed it and start working on your assignment too. Thank you. Any questions, please be free to ask me. Okay, you can always before I end, alright, you can always check out with AO, so you can see how the shadow kind of like drops and so on and so forth. If you want to do it really well, you want to see things in proper, maybe you want to have an AO, ambient occlusion shader, attached to this character. Okay, this is the second part. The mouth, as I said, it's going to be a tricky one, right? You have to go and tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak. It's not going to be as easy as it is, but you kind of get an idea how it is. It's a little bit adjusted, exaggerated from my perspective, but approximately it does not lose the silhouette and the characteristic as being portrayed in the concept art. Alright, okay, thank you guys, have a good weekend. Save. I will upload the third part come this weekend.